in order to realize the rule of law in Asia, to provide all citizens equal access to laws and regulations, and to establish laws and systems to properly respond to future challenges such as climate change and development of AI technology. It is necessary for Asian countries to work together to deal with them.
Global issues are becoming increasingly more complex, such as climate change and development of AI technology. And their impacts are not limited to a single country, but are affecting the whole region. If Asian legislative institutions cooperate together to respond to the challenges, they can address these issues more effectively. The Ministry of Government Legislation of the Republic of Korea suggests the creation of KALI for Asian countries to jointly respond to legislative challenges, to systematically share information, and to promote mutual development.
KALI will initially be launched as a consultative body based on voluntary participation, but MOLEX suggests its long-term goal is conversion into an international organization.
MOLEX suggests that KALI will be established by signing a memorandum of understanding between legislative organizations of participating countries at beginning stage. It does not confer any rights or obligations on participating organizations. The consultative body will be managed as an international conference where legislative organizations regularly meet with each other and discuss corporate measures on legislative issues based on voluntarily intentions. However, in order to further strengthen legislative cooperation in Asia, MOLEX suggests to convert KALI into an intergovernmental organization in the long run, which would bring together Asian countries to further enhance legislative cooperation. In order to convert it into an intergovernmental organization, matters concerning rights, obligations, and contribution of each country are required to be discussed. Therefore, we would like to have consultations with participating countries on the conversion in advance. And then we expect the treaty will be signed with the countries who complete the consultation with MOLEX in 2030.
KALI will perform 4 missions: joint research on legislative issues, sharing experience and expertise in legislative administration, dissemination of legal information and digitalized legal information system, and cooperation for statutory modification.
KALI will perform the following 4 functions. First, legislative issues are jointly addressed. KALI will provide a venue for legislative institutions and experts to gather together and discuss the legislative challenges that are expected to arise from future changes. A joint research will be conducted. Second, cooperation in the field of legislative administration will be achieved. KALI will provide an opportunity for Asian countries to cooperate with each other to make legislative administration more efficient. Online and offline seminars will be held to share the best practice of legislative administration in each country. Third, corporate activities on legal information will be conducted. Asian countries can exchange their legal information and cooperate for utilizing digital technology to make it more accessible. KALI will also hold workshops to share experiences in developing a law information system. Fourth, cooperation in statutory modification will be promoted. KALI will support Asian countries in modifying their status for legislative development. Modification drafts in areas of need are presented and mutual visit will be carried out.
MOLEX suggests to organize several levels of structure from general meeting to working level of research meeting.
MOLEC proposes that the consultative body be composed of a general meeting of organizational heads to make final decision, a coordinating committee of senior officials to make more detailed decisions, functional subcommittees and secretariat for coordination among working level officials of each institution, and an advisory committee of experts from research institutes and universities in the field of legislation to provide an advice on its activities.
After the opening ceremony for the preparatory committee to be held on November 1st, 2024, the operational plan will be discussed with interested countries. But for now, separately, there is a timeline for the operational plan envisioned by MOLEC.
Designating persons in charge of communication among participating countries on matters related to the preparatory committee. Matters on the MOU that will be signed at the Council's establishment ceremony. The organizational structure, detailed functions, and rules and regulations of the Council will be consulted by the online meetings. Each organization will carry out additional internal reviews, which will be followed by the second online meeting between working level officials. Critical issues will be discussed at the Director General level online meeting. At this stage, countries that have agreed on the agenda will be invited to participate to the meeting of organizational heads to be held in the fourth quarter of 2025 as a member of the Council. A MOU signing ceremony between the organizational heads of participating countries and the establishment ceremony for the Council will be held.
The operational plan will be determined through consultation among participating countries during the operating period of the preparatory committee in 2025. However, in order to provide a better understanding of what CALI is, we would like to propose the following provisional operational plan.
First, we would like to introduce the draft operational plans for each department on the organizational chart. The general meeting is attended by organizational heads and held in person in the fourth quarter. The Council's key implementations and achievement in 2026 will be shared. Implementation plans for 2027 will be discussed. The coordinating committee is attended by senior officials and held via online meetings in the third or fourth quarter. It examines the Council's key implementations and progress status in 2026 and becomes a venue to discuss matters to be implemented in 2027. The director-level meetings of functional subcommittees will be held once or twice during the first to third quarter period. At the meetings, implementation plans of each subcommittee in 2026, matters to be consulted, and the progress status will be shared and discussed. The Subcommittee on Research on Legislative Issues conducts a joint research on how Asian countries can cooperate each other to respond to the ubiquitous AI in 2026, and shares the research results at the 14th Asian Legislative Experts Symposium. The Subcommittee on Cooperation in Legislative Administration will hold online seminars to share best practices in legislative administration in each country starting in 2026. The Subcommittee on Cooperation in Legal Information will provide the English versions of the latest economic and investment laws and regulations of each country and hold an online seminar on the current status of each country's law information system. The Subcommittee on Cooperation in Statutory Modification will introduce Korea's statutory modification system and hold a seminar to share the development history of Korea's laws and systems.
We believe that enhancing the capabilities of the private sector and achieving high levels of economic growth requires support of laws. CALI aims to share legislative experience and know-how of each country for Asia's mutual development and further expand cooperation in the field of legislation between Asian countries. It would be a great pleasure if legislative organizations of Asian countries could be interested in the proposed cooperative activities in this regard. We look forward to your interest.